Don't worry, be happy. Forget about it. Stay positive. Good vibes only. These statements might have good intent behind them, and people usually say them because they want to make someone feel better, but in reality, they can be problematic. If someone lost their uncle or they failed an exam, saying things like this won't help. In fact, it might actually make things worse. It might be toxic. Toxic positivity, according to UW Medicine, is dismissing negative emotions and responding to distress with false reassurances rather than empathy. It's like being in a difficult situation, maybe failing like a really important class that you spent a lot of money on, and then pretending that things are going well. I'm talking about an extreme in which you deny or ignore emotions like sadness, disappointment, anger. When you purposely pretend that those emotions don't exist, you throw them to the side and act as if they aren't affecting you at all. Why does it matter if we were to do that? Well, when someone we care about is talking about something very sad or uncomfortable, and we interrupt them and tell them that, they should be happy, that's not helping them. It can make them feel like you weren't listening to what they had to say, and that you don't understand their pain. What it really is that you might be feeling the negative emotions that they're experiencing, and you don't want to deal with it because that's making you uncomfortable. And since you don't want to deal with it, you just want to move on and brush their concerns under the rug. So before we get into how it affects us personally and how it can harm us, I'll share a story. So in our counseling skills class at university, we practice therapeutic skills like reflecting feeling, paraphrasing, interpreting, and so on. We do a mock session of therapy and we practice. One of us would be taking the role of the therapist and one of us would be the client. During one of the sessions, I was the client and my classmate was the therapist. So I had to provide some type of story or scenario from the therapist, and preferably something that's real because that's more beneficial. So what I talked about was that I wanted to go out with my friends over the weekend one day, and I was so busy that I couldn't make time to go out on the weekend. So I was so frustrated at the realization that I was so busy, my schedule was so packed that I couldn't even find time during my day off from work during the weekend to just hang out with my friends. So my classmate, who was being the therapist in that situation, asked me how I felt about that. I thought about it and I said hopeful. I've already told you how I really felt about it, angry and frustrated and disappointed, but my classmate didn't know that. She was asking how I really felt. But, she went with it and then she said, okay, then you're hopeful. So then maybe you're thinking that you can go out some other time. You can go see them later. After the session was over and our professor, our supervisor was watching us, I thought about it and I realized that something felt off. I felt frustrated for some reason. I couldn't explain why. Something about the session. So the professor debriefed with us and tried to analyze why I was feeling frustrated. Because the session's supposed to generally make you feel better. If you feel heightened emotions, then there's got to be a reason why. We looked back at the interventions that my classmate used, and we realized that when I said that I was feeling hopeful, that really wasn't true. I was pushing negative emotions to the side and pretending things were okay and moving on quickly to the good, and it wasn't genuine. And that's why I felt frustrated, because I wasn't being genuine to myself. I was feeling something else at the moment. I was feeling angry that I couldn't hang out with my friends, that even though I worked a full week, I had class, I still couldn't find the time on my days off to go out. I felt disappointment and I felt sad. But I had gotten into the habit of playing down my negative emotions and moving on quickly to something else, something more positive. Like pretending that things were okay even if things weren't going so well. I didn't let myself feel negative emotions or acknowledge that they were there. But it was normal to feel bad. It's normal to feel sadness. So can it be harmful? I'm sure you've probably figured out the answer. Well, toxic positivity can shame someone and make them feel like they don't have the right to feel sad or hurt. It can shame someone and make someone feel like they don't have the right to feel emotion, that they have no right to feel sad, that something difficult happened to them. And that can hold you back and actually make you feel worse because you've been ignoring emotions that need to be recognized. You're not feeling the full scope of your natural emotion. It's only natural to feel sad when something tragic happens. It's only natural to feel angry when somebody's taking away your rights. There are benefits to these emotions, and learn from them. Let's say you and someone you're very close to, maybe a best friend, got into a fight or you stopped talking. To feel sad or disappointed or angry is only normal. Reflecting and thinking about these difficult, uncomfortable feelings will allow you to understand yourself and to grow. It can help you realize things that maybe you don't like it when someone mocks you, or when someone bails out on plans last minute. Maybe it tells you that you value people being on time. Maybe you have an obsession with planning. You can learn useful things about yourself and about the way you act in relationships that you can apply in the future. You can be careful of, but you would never know these things if you pretended that everything was fine. What's the alternative if this is harmful? I'm not saying that you should give up on being positive. Being positive is very, very beneficial. There are numerous studies. There's an abundance of evidence. There's a plethora of evidence that being positive is actually very beneficial for getting through difficult times. What I'm saying is let yourself experience emotions without letting them carry you away. But don't go to the extreme of pretending they don't exist at all. Don't feel guilty necessarily for your emotions. Try to understand what's causing them, because emotions provide an opportunity for self-reflection. Emotions tell us things. They're tools. Anger and fear can tell us about a potential threat or danger, that our body wants something or needs something. Happiness builds connection and gives us the opportunity to be creative. Learning from our emotions can help us apologize when we make mistakes. Maybe when we were harsh or rude or inconsiderate. Maybe you lashed out in anger because someone hurt your feelings. But what was it that they said that hurt your feelings? Maybe it was something about your intelligence. Maybe you're insecure about your intelligence. Why is that? More opportunity to explore, more opportunity for reflection. Not everything is deep, but some things are. Emotions can help us clarify our needs and intentions, and emotions are normal. It's part of the human condition. I personally do have a bone to pick with Westerns in which all types of tendencies and urges are encouraged and validated. Like, if you want to cheat on your wife, then that's not something that I feel like people should be validating. It's like, good for you, man. Let's find out a way to make you feel better about your choices. That's a story for another time though. But yeah, experience your emotions. They're only natural. And I'll see you guys in the next one.